Hi, my name is Mariah Allen, and I'm here to discuss teen eating disorders. I'm going to be talking about their signs, symptoms, as well as their prevalence in today's society. As a future counselor, this topic is really important to me because I believe in teaching women the true beauty and positive body image. Before I start, I'd like to say that all of the information that I will be covering can be found in the DSM-5. The first disorder I'm going to be talking about is anorexia nervosa. Anorexia nervosa is a serious disorder that commonly affects women. It affects 1% of the female population and has a 4% mortality rate. Although it is most commonly found in women, it can also be found in men. There are two basic criteria that anorexia presents with. There's restricting and alternative ways to lose weight, such as laxative diets and exercise. Now let's talk about the signs and symptoms of anorexia. Individuals who present with this disorder typically have these signs and symptoms: excessive weight loss, significantly low body weight, fear of weight gain, and negative body image or low self-esteem, as well as societal influences, one of those being the media. The next disorder we're going to talk about is bulimia nervosa. Individuals with this disorder typically present with a normal body weight for their age and height, but they're still consumed with the idea of a perfect weight. Bulimia nervosa affects 4.2% of female population and has a 5% mortality rate. There are three main criteria that these individuals have, including binging, purging, and restricting. Binging is the act of eating too much food in a short amount of time. Purging is the act of expelling that food through the means of vomiting. And restricting is the act of abstaining from food altogether. The problem with restricting is that these individuals eventually lose control of that restricted behavior and end up at binging again. Now that we've talked about the vicious cycle of bulimia, let's talk about the signs, symptoms, and influences associated with it. This vicious cycle can happen repeatedly up to 7 to 10 times a day and ranges from overly eating to frequent dieting. The root cause of this is commonly thought to come from past traumas, and the health issues associated with this include tooth decay, ulcers, and heart attack. Heart attack happens because of the constant pressure placed on the body from purging. The last disorder we're going to be talking about is binge eating. Binge eating is based on one specific criteria, which is overeating. It is one of the newest diagnoses in the DSM-5, which is important because it affects up to 5.5% of Americans and has a 6% mortality rate and affects all genders. Signs, symptoms, and influences of binge eating disorder include extreme weight gain in a short amount of time, high blood pressure and high cholesterol levels, as well as feelings of distress and shame associated with abnormal eating behaviors. Okay, now let's discuss why this entire speech matters. It matters because we live in a society where the false ideal perfection is pushed in people's faces, and it's starting younger and younger, and children are comparing themselves to images that don't even measure up to real life. I think that it's important for us to understand and educate people about this so that we can prevent these disorders from happening instead of waiting for the disorders to develop and then trying to reverse them. I think it's super important because we need more research and more funding in this area. People have this disorder so common and it's so prevalent in today's society, and we get the least amount of research funding among any other mental illness, although this mental illness has the highest mortality rate among all of them. So I think that it's extremely important to educate ourselves, to understand them, and take away the stigma that's commonly associated with mental illness. Thank you.